How are you? You come when the rain falls, so we cannot talk because the noise, the noise is very loud. So we sit instead. Sit until we can talk. So now we can talk because the sound has now subsided, the noise has subsided. So, is there anything you want to ask me? If you do, we'll give you the microphone. เอาไมโครโฟนให้เขาไปหน่อยนะ You have to speak close to your mouth.
Ajahn, I just want to ask, we are lay people, we practice at home. If we do sitting 1 hour and we just keep practicing, gradually can we go into deep samadhi? Is it possible?
It depends on your mindfulness, how strong your mindfulness is. If you sit and you cannot stop your thoughts, you still keep thinking about this and that, then it will not be possible. But if you sit and then you fully concentrate on your meditation object, such as your breath or mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto, if you can do this, then you can eventually enter into samadhi. So it depends on your mindfulness. How strong can your mindfulness curb your thought, stop your thinking? Because if you cannot stop your thought, you cannot enter into samadhi. So you have to try to develop as much mindfulness during the other time when you're not sitting. From the time you get up, you should try to slow down your thought or eliminate your thought as much as possible. Only thing of the thing that is important that you have to think, essential thoughts, but thing that is not essential, like dreaming, fantasizing, imagining things, this you should try not to think about. Instead, focus on what you do. If you are eating, just focus on your eating. If you are bathing, just focus on your bathing. If you are brushing your teeth, just focus on your brushing your teeth. Don't think about other things. If you can do this when you sit when you sit to meditate, you then can make your mind to stop thinking and enter into jhana or samadhi. So the key here is mindfulness. Without mindfulness, you cannot get into samadhi. It's like an automobile. Without the key, you cannot get into the automobile and start the engine and drive the automobile. You need to have the key first. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Do.
Someone else? Okay. Please speak close to the microphone because this microphone is not sensitive. You have to speak close to your mouth.
This, Ajahn, as we develop mindfulness day to day, 24 hours, does it mean that our mind will be stopped and we will more or less like we don't talk so much?
You don't talk because
so much, but we talk when necessary.
Right. Talk only when you have to, but don't comment on this and that. Don't criticize this or that.
Yes, because everything is conditioned arising.
That's right.
Stop and cease.
Leave them alone better.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Do not be critical of things or people. Just understand this is the way they are.
Yeah. Thank you, Ajahn.
Ajahn, how important is the object of meditation? can we choose an object that is moving or imagine some scenery that we like during our meditation?
You have to use the objects that is prescribed in the 40 Kammatthana. The objects of meditation called Kammatthana. There are about 40 objects, and you should use any one of these 40 prescribed by the Buddha. If you want to use imagination, you have to imagine only the color. We call kasina. To imagine a green color, a red color, a white color, or yellow color. But you close your eyes, just imagine the color. Let the color appear in your mental mind, in your mind, on the screen of your mind. Right now, when you close your eyes, you usually see black, right? So, but if you use your imagination, imagine of a color, of a particular color, like green. Before you do that, before you close your eye, try to look at a green color first, and try to remember that color. And when you close your eyes, then try to imagine that color. Bring it up to appear in your mind. If you can do this, you can make your mind calm that way, this way. You can use color, 4 colors. I think red, green, yellow, and white. But you have to create this by your imagination. Bring it up, bring it to appear in your mind. Like you think of money, right? When you think of money, you close your eye and you can see the money. Yeah. So you have to use your imagination. But there are objects you don't want to think of, because when you think of objects such as money, it can cause restlessness or agitation, because you start to think about money. Think how much money I have, how much more should I have, so forth. But if you think of color, this is neutral. It doesn't create any desire. So you don't have to think. So you have to choose the 40 Kammatthana. If you want to use an object, you can use part of your body, such as your skeleton. That's an object you can imagine. Close your eyes and imagine, think of the skeleton. If you cannot imagine, first you look at the picture first. Look at the picture of the skeleton and try to look at it long and try to remember the picture of the skeleton. Then you close your eyes and you try to recollect that picture that you have seen when you open your eyes. And if the picture of the skeleton appears in your mind, then you focus your attention on that picture. Don't let that picture disappear. Don't let the skeleton disappear. If you can do this, then your mind will become still and can enter into jhana that way. But not scenery, like going to Hong Kong and imagine all the picture you see in Hong Kong or Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur, This will create more thoughts, because when you see them, it creates your reaction to these pictures. You don't want to let your mind react to the pictures you want to use as your meditation object. You want to use an object that is neutral, that doesn't stir up your thoughts or memories or emotions. Okay, so you have to choose the one that you like when you sit. But when you're not sitting, you still have to use you still have to use a meditation object to prevent your mind from thinking too much, like a mantra. You can use a mantra like Bhutto, Bhutto with everything that you do. See, brushing your teeth and you can recite Bhutto, Bhutto, rather than let your mind think about money, think about people, think about places. Let it come back to Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. Then it will stop thinking aimlessly. And when you meditate, then you can concentrate on your breath. when you sit down, then you can concentrate, watch your breath. Watch the coming in and out of your breath. You don't need to follow your breath. Just focus at the point of entry and exit, which is at the tip of your nose. Just focus there when you can feel the breath coming in and out. And just be aware of what the breath, whether it comes in or goes out. You don't have to follow the breath. Whether it's short or long, just know, just be aware. Be aware it is such. But don't try to control your breath. Don't control your breath. Don't make your breath short or long. Because this is working. No, you're making the mind working. See, you want to let the mind rest. So the mind will be rest when it just watch. Okay? Can you send the microphone to the lady in the back? Behind? Okay.
Ajahn, like to ask, are we in samadhi if we are watching the breath and we are still thinking?
But just concentrate on the breath and ignore the thinking. When you first start, you cannot stop. When you first start, you cannot stop the thinking entirely. You will still keep thinking, but you try not to ignore it and try to focus on your breath. Eventually, if you can maintain your focus on your breath, your thought will eventually disappear. But at the start, it will still keep coming. And try to get you to go with the thinking. You have to bring the mind to the breath and not to the thinking. Don't follow your thoughts. Just watch the breath. Keep reminding yourself, I'm watching the breath. This is my job. My job is not to think about this or that thing. Oh no, bring it back. There's a lady behind. She asked about the what you call relics of the Buddha, of the Arahant. She said someone gave her some relics, and after a few years she said this relics increases in size or in amount. And she asked what to do, what to think of it. And I say, this is something that you cannot prove, So all you can do is just know that this is the way it is. But the purpose of the relics is to teach us, to remind us that it is possible to have a Buddha, or there is a Buddha existed in the past, and his relics remind us of that. There is an Arahant or among a teacher that you respect. After his death, part of his bones of that is left from the cremation turns into relics. Then you can know that this monk or this teacher was an Arahant. So it's just an indicator of a Buddha, of an Arahant, of that particular person. That's all. This way it can help to enhance your faith in the Buddha and the noble disciple. That you know that this is not something concocted by someone, and in fact it is real. That there is a Buddha, there was a Buddha and there was an Arahant. His mind has been purified without any traces of defilement left in his mind. So he would not take up any birth anymore. He would be in Nibbana. So this is about the relics. Just to teach people about the Buddha and the noble disciple. So they build the pagoda or jedi to put these relics in, so that future generation, when they look at the pagoda, they will ask, "What is this?" Then if someone tells them this is the place you keep the remains of the Buddha or the noble disciples, the Arahant, then they might then begin to study who's the Buddha, who's an Arahant. Then they will then start to learn about how to become a Buddha, how to become an Arahant, and they might have the inspiration to become one. So then they will start to study and practice, and then eventually, if they do it correctly, they could become an Arahant themselves that way. So this is the purpose of the relics, as an inspiration to the future generation, to verify the truth that the Buddha existed, that his noble disciple existed, and these are the remains of them, of what's left of them when they die. Ordinary people will not turn, the bones will not turn into relics. The bone will eventually crumble and return to dust. But some part of the bones of the Buddha or the Arahant will become relics, become like what you call precious stone. They are like precious stone, really, and they will not break down like the remnants of the bones left from cremation. Is that clear? Okay. Is there anything else you want to ask? Okay.
Ajahn, during meditation, how do I deal with the feeling of being bored and wanting to stop meditating after a while?
It's your desire to go do something else, makes you want to stop meditation. This is an indication that your mindfulness has evaporated, has disappeared. You no longer have the mindfulness to control your thoughts. So if you want to continue on, then you have to force yourself to recite a mantra to regenerate your mindfulness. So when you feel like you want to stop meditating, then you have to say, I have to Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. Keep on Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. You cannot sit and let the mind do as what it wants to do. If you want to continue sitting, then you have to use the mantra to force your mind to continue on meditating. So when you feel like getting up, you say, no, I'm not going to get up. I'm going to continue on Bhutto, 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 Bhutto. Just keep reciting Bhutto, Bhutto. Then after a while, when you regain your mindfulness, then you can suppress the desire to get up. Then you can sit longer that way. It's like, mindfulness is like gasoline that you put in your automobile, right? After you drive for a while, you run out of gasoline. So you have to stop by the gas station, service station, to fill up more gasoline. This is the same way when you meditate. When you start, you have strong mindfulness. You can sit and control your desire to do things. But after a while, your mindfulness will gradually disappear. Then your desire will become strong, and it wants you to get up and go do something else. If you want to continue on sitting, then you have to regenerate your mindfulness by using a mantra or chanting. You can use chanting or mantra. Then you can continue sitting. After a while, then your mindfulness will become stronger. Then it will suppress the desire to get up to go do something else. Then you can sit for longer that way. Understand? Okay. Yeah.
Ajahn, can we use 5 aggregates as a meditation object. For example, initially in the meditation, when the mind thinking and keep thinking, then I will tell the mind, Sankhara is dukkha, Sankhara is anicca, Sankhara is anatta. Drop it, tell my mind, drop it, let go, and I come back to my object.
If you can, okay, go on.
Okay, and then if there is a pain, the mind want to reject, the mind don't like, not happy, then I'll tell the mind, this Vedana is anicca, the same thing. Okay, when there is something sensation in the body that the mind don't like, so same thing, I'll tell this is rupa. Can I do that?
Well, try it. Why don't you try it? It's better.
Yes, I have tried it, and I found that it's very good.
Okay, if it's good, then okay.
Yeah.
If it works, it works for you. This is another method, which because wisdom develops samadhi. You use wisdom or logic or truth to teach the mind that this is the way it is. You just have to leave it alone. Then when you leave it alone, then you can come back and concentrate on your breath. Sometimes the mind wants to get rid of that thing, and the more you want, the more restless and agitated you become. So you cannot concentrate on your breath. But if you use the wisdom of the Buddha that said this thing is anicca, dukkha, anatta, you should leave it alone. Once the mind believe in what you say and leave that thing alone, then you can come back and concentrate on your meditation object. Okay? All right.
Okay. My question is, sometimes after coming out from meditation and then starts to meet people and dealing with things, I feel like I think rather slower than usual, and sometimes there is some dizziness, so it feels awkward.
Can you speak closer to the microphone?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sometimes when I come out from meditation, and then start to deal with people speaking or doing things, then I feel that I think slower, and then sometimes there is some dizziness too. So usually it takes some time until it becomes normal. So is it okay?
Yeah, sometimes it's like getting out of bed. It takes a little time before you can engage with people. So when you meditate, you stop your mental activity. So when you come out, before you can re-engage, it might take a little time for you to readjust. So as long as you don't have any bad feelings or anything, then it should be all right.
Okay. My next question is about sharing of merits. Up to now, I feel like I'm still not sure what is happening when we share our merits to the deceased, and then also with the ritual of pouring the water. Is it?
Okay, merit is what you have in your mind when you do dana, give dana. You feel a sense of happiness and fulfillment. You can share this feeling for the people who departed from this world, because they exist on these good feelings that you get from giving dana. So if they are in the position waiting to receive this, then you can send it to them by your thought. Just say, I would like to share this merit with this and that person. If this or that person is waiting, then they can then receive that feeling that you send to them. You don't need to use water. You don't need to have monks to chant for you before you can do it. You don't need monks to chant Anumodana before you can share your merit. You can share them as soon as you finish giving dana. Like when you finish giving food, putting food in the bowl, and you feel a sense of happiness from that, then you share that sense of happiness for the departed. But you have to mention who you want to share it with, or else they will not be able to receive it. But you don't need water to do it. Water is just a symbol of the happiness that you send for the departed. People, they don't understand what this merit is, so they use water as the symbol of merit that you share. When you pour the water into a container, it's like you are sharing your good feeling from your heart to the heart of the deceased. But the person who departs, he or she might not be waiting, because it depends on how much merit they have made during their lifetime. If they have made a lot of merit, then they don't need to wait for our merit. They have their own merits to experience. But if they didn't have merit with them, then they might have to come and wait for our sharing of our merit. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Speak close to the microphone so it can be hear you clearly.
Okay. I would like to ask a question for my father. He has retired from his job, and since the past 6 months, he has some difficulties in getting by each day because he doesn't have much activities. So he feels depressed and like no purpose and meaning in life. So he even mentioned like there was a thought of dying. So he also tried to fill up the time with meditation, but he can't really sit and do walking meditation much because he has chronic back problem. And also after all this while doing meditation and joining some retreat, he feels that he doesn't really see any result from his practice. So he also feels demotivated, and he thinks that maybe that's not for him. So how would Tanachan's advice for him?
Well, see, this is the problem with people, that they don't start early. This is something you have to start early, because if you come start late in your life, it's difficult to do, especially with meditation. It takes time before you can have mindfulness strong enough to be able to sit and meditate. And before you can have mindfulness, you have to have time to be alone. And so, but if you are not used to being alone, when you are alone and you have nothing to do, you become depressed. So this is the problem with people. If they want to start practicing when they're retired, what they should have done was they should start while they were still working and use their day off from working to learn how to meditate. So by the time when they retire, then they know how to meditate. Then they can be alone and will not be depressed. So if he start late now, you just have to tell him that he has to go through this difficulty period. If he can persist with developing mindfulness, eventually he'll be able to calm his mind, and then the restlessness and the depression will gradually disappear. But besides that, what he can do to help decrease the depression is he should take up some charity work if it's possible. He should go to do something for charity in order to keep the mind occupied and busy. But at least charity work does not increase your defilement. It helps to decrease your defilement, your greed, your hate, and your delusion. So this, if he cannot be alone and then practice, then maybe he should go do some charity work, keep himself busy that way, make himself useful. Then you will feel good that he's still useful, he still can do something for other people. Is there any charity work in Indonesia that you can do?
Yes, actually there are a lot, but for my father case, because he has some back and leg problems, so he also has physical limitations, so he's not very sure whether he can be very help much in doing charity work.
Or else he can concentrate his time in studying the Buddha's teaching. Let him research all the teaching of the Buddha. Then he find can he read English or Indonesian or?
Indonesian.
Is there any Dhamma in Indonesian?
Yes.
Yeah, let him research and use his time studying the Dhamma teaching. Then he will get the understanding, and he will also be busy this way. Then his mind will not feel depressed if he has something to do. So encourage him to study the Buddha's teaching, and once he starts to study, he will start to know what he has to do. Then he might be able to start doing the practice. Otherwise, I don't know what else to do. Or he has to go and live in the temple with the monks and try to follow the monks' activities. Like your brother who came here and then he followed the monks' activity. Then you have something to do, so you don't feel depressed that way. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
จากคุณสิทธัตถาสยามเมธา This is the following up question of my previous sister question about recently retired father. ท่านอาจารย์ Right now I am watching this with my father. He asked why is he difficult to sleep at night. His mind is restless. Keep thinking that he does not have any preparation of the death comes.
Yeah, because he uses his mind all the time. His mind has been very active because he had to work, he had to make money. So he has to use his mind until it becomes a habit. So when there's nothing for the mind to do, the mind then feels restless. Because you don't know how to rest your mind, stop your mind. So if you want to get rid of your restlessness, you have to develop mindfulness. Instead of thinking about things you want to do, you should recite a mantra such as a Bhutto, Bhutto. Keep reciting Bhutto, Bhutto all day. Then your mind will become empty and blank. Then the restlessness will disappear and the mind will be calm and peaceful and happy.